Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Clinic Gym Radio. I'm your host, Dr. Josh Saturday, of course, and I am joined by one of my favorite guests. That's why we had him on, and we'll have him on, and we'll have him on again. The wonderful, my main man from Canada, Jon Morrison. Jon, how are you?
Josh, doing great. Thank you so much for having me. It's just always fun that we get together and chat, whether it's being recorded or not. Sometimes the best ones are the ones without the recording.
I was going to say, some of our, had they been recording, we might have been in trouble. So
we might have been in prison.
Yeah. So
but the Canadian prisons are great because you get lots of Wi-Fi and outside time. And you don't really want to go outside in a lot of Canada. So maybe that's why they let you. But
yeah. Well, listen, speaking of prison, some folks have been quarantined for a long time, and we've seen they can't go to work, they can't go to school, all sorts of stuff. You know, this year has been crazy. And some people just kind of take it on the chin and sit down. But I think I heard you were up to something special. So what's been going on since the old COVID hit?
Well, first off, Josh, that is a fantastic segue, by the way. It's felt like prison these last few months. I felt like that long ago because we have 3 kids under 6. So I've been on daddy duty a lot. Mm-hmm. And so enjoying the family time, trying to be optimistic about stuff. But I know that so many people are struggling. COVID is a virus. And one of the things about viruses that from a non-medical perspective, the little I know is that viruses tend to attack the weakest part of you. Mm-hmm. And I think COVID does the same with all of your life, right? So if your business was struggling before COVID, then that virus is just going to attack your economics. If your marriage was struggling before COVID, it's going after that. If your kids were struggling at various ages, it's just been a mess for so many people. And so I've been trying to do the same thing that we were always doing beforehand. Like Josh, you and I have been talking for years about how do we help chiropractors get what they need to go where they want to go. And the why is still the same for me. And so one of the things that I've always been doing after all this time is how do we get the best tools to these great people? Like I really love the evidence-based community in your area. You know, we work with a ton of like jocks and stuff. So as a former athlete, I don't want to say current athlete, but as a former athlete, I used to play hockey at a very high level. So I identify with a lot of people that rally around you in the clinic gym model. So I really love that community. I love being a part of the Facebook posts, even like reading them all, because I'm learning stuff all the time, even though, it's not often that people ask me, my opinion on what exercises to do. But I love being a part of the community. So the biggest thing that I think we've been working on is that we launched a new company during COVID. It's a partnership that we have with Jane, and some people would know, some people don't, but I actually,
we've had Allie as a guest, Allie, the founder of Jane, or one of the founders of Jane, on this show twice as a guest. So people should know her pretty well.
So I'm sure Allie talked about me a lot because we actually dated in high school. And
it's all she talked about. I mean, it was difficult. I was like, Allie, just cover the software. Stop talking about John's blue eyes.
There you go. Mm-hmm. There you go. And so, whether it's my blue eyes or red eyes, however she chooses to remember me by, we actually connected at the Forward conference in St. Louis again. And her and Trev were there running a booth, and I was just kind of hanging out with them. And at one point, like we went for dinner on the Friday night, and I said to them, like, guys, what are you doing for websites? And they said, well, we don't really have, classic, like our company, our clients, our medical professionals, they don't have great websites. They're notorious for it. And I was like, why don't we come up with something that integrates with your platform, and we'll take from your API, because there's so much juicy information in that. Not only their colors, their logo, but we can get your practitioners, we can get your contact information, we can get their bio pictures, we can get your services, their descriptions, all that stuff we can pull off of your Jane account and bring it onto your website. And all of a sudden there's like sparks flew, and then it's like, we could do this.
Again. Sparks flew again between you and Allie.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it was grade 11 when those initial sparks were going. We've grown a lot since then.
But all joking aside, essentially what at that dinner you guys realized is typically when you want a website, you enter in your logo, you enter in your colors, you enter in your description, and you got to write a bio for every doctor, and you write who's on our team, and here's our hours, and here's our phone numbers. And then you go over to Jane or whatever EHR you're using. I mean, you should be using Jane, but if you're using anything, you enter your logo, your colors, your phone number, your hours and all this. And your thought is, with the power of electronics, I mean, you said API, and some folks might not know what that means.
I nerded out a bit there. Sorry.
No, it's all right. All that means is, hey, that information's already over here and accurate. Mm-hmm. Why not just use one source for it? And the great news is if the hours, for example, change and you change them in Jane, that would automatically update those on a website rather than having to go 2 places to update that when, say, there's restrictions put in place or something.
Yeah. I mean, Uncle Louie may have been your massage therapist when you first had your website, but it's been 3 years and Uncle Louie is no longer, you guys maybe had a falling out or something.
Well, I hope that nobody on this listening here actually has a massage therapist named Uncle Louie, because that just makes me a little nervous for their malpractice.
They've got marketing.
I don't know why. Yeah.
That's the truth. But if you did have an Uncle Louie and he just wasn't getting the numbers for you for whatever reason, and he was no longer in your clinic, you'd have to scrub him from your website as well. But a lot of people can't access their website. It's too difficult, or it's like just I've got too many things on, so I'll get them rid of my out of my Jane account. But imagine if it could just automatically disappear from my website because of my Jane
much
account.
Of a time saver. Plus,
Josh, there's other things. Yeah, go ahead.
Have you ever looked online and looked up a business? You've been there multiple times, and there's 3 locations, or there's 4 phone numbers, and you're like, there's no way this is accurate. I mean, I was in there at 5:00, and this says it closes at 3 every day, or vice versa.
Right.
And drives me nuts.
It's just better to have be able to change the information at one source. So we've said, Jane is your moneymaker. That's where people are booking appointments. Let's just pull from that and auto-populate the website. So I'm quite excited about what we've been able to do. But you mentioned even just the logo. So many website builders that I've used in the past, the logo is a source of tension because it's moving all over the place. It's not quite center, or looks blurry or whatever.
I used a website builder for a while. I won't say the name of it, but it rhymes with, you ever had that candy bar that's 2 bars
Twix.
next to each other? Okay.
I've had those Twix before.
Yeah. Well, I won't say the name of this website builder, but it rhymes with that.
Right.
And
the thing you put in a candle. What was that again? Yeah.
So I uploaded my logo, and on one page, it made it from a rectangle, it made it into a square.
Right.
So it totally changed the, what do you call that? The ratio.
Right.
And it's like a funhouse mirror working against you. It's hard to read. It looks bloated. And I'm like, this is not a hard thing to do. Just take what I entered and put it on the, I mean, we're talking about a computer here. We're not talking about this isn't carved in a piece of marble in 1294. You can do this.
Yeah.
And just drove me nuts. And they're so behind the times. But anyways, I got to ask you this. I mean, here we are in the darkest days that a lot of people have been through. Why start it now? I mean, you essentially are starting it. You're starting a thing for clinic websites at a time when there are maybe less clinics around.
Mm-hmm. Well, why start now? There's so many reasons why we start now. One, because that's when the developer could have got it done. I would have liked it earlier, but
all right. So you had some extra bandwidth. You could get cheap.
You know what it's like to work with these guys. It's it's always a little later than you hope. So that's one thing. 2, I'm kind of an optimist, Josh, by nature. So I think a downturn is a great time to launch a company because 1, you have a little more time. 2, you have tons of success stories of these amazing companies that got launched either during the Great Recession or the Great Depression. Some of these world-leading enterprises started in the Great Depression, and household names today that we use all the time, like Spotify and Uber and Slack, and I mean the list could go on. All these companies that started in 2008 and just after that. So why not start it during the COVID recession? So that's why one of the reasons. And then thirdly, everything went virtual, right? So Josh, you and I have talked about this, and it's one of my favorite conversations that we have had. Basically, the clinic that is just starting yesterday, and the clinic that's been around for 10 years during that lockdown was reduced to the exact same platform, the website. And so you could actually look way better if you had a nice looking website, way more appealing.
The field was totally leveled.
Yeah, the playground was playing ground was leveled, and as a result, you could gain some major market share. And that's what the good thing about downturns is that there's market share to be had. That people are reevaluating everything, right? They want to do telehealth, and if someone else, their old chiropractor, doesn't do telehealth, or their old gym, maybe they're closed, and so now they can sneak under the still go to the gym because it's called rehab or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunities for people. They're rethinking everything. And so websites are so important because you can give all that information and win people over based on the words and images and this whole setup of your site. So That's why I launched a website company during this time. The need's never been better. The opportunity's never been more there. And I'm super excited about this partnership that we have with Jane.
That's awesome, man. Excuse me. Let me ask you this. I mean, you come from a marketing background. Before you started this company, you're all about marketing, and you worked with photographers, wedding planners, chiropractors, dentists, auto body shops, everything, right? And when you met your chiropractic homies, that's when you really fell head over heels, right? Like flew to Vegas, hoping to get married in a weekend at Parker.
Well, I was already married by then, so I wasn't exactly looking for that. But I did accidentally lose my wedding ring before I went to Vegas, but thankfully we found it just before the flight. So awesome. My wife was quite happy about
I actually lost my wedding ring at a friend's house at a barbecue. And like 3 weeks later, we were over there and my wife goes, yeah, he lost his wedding ring, blah, blah. And they said, what did it look like? I said, it was like silver. It's kind of flat. And it was stainless steel. And my buddy perks up. He's like, oh, really? He's like, I found it, but I thought it was a washer for a bolt because it was so big. He had put it in his like parts drawer in his garage for like miscellaneous parts. So
somebody putting metal rings around a bunch of sausages or something.
Yeah, that's a horrible visual. Anyways, let me ask you this.
That's a great story, by the way. I hope that makes it to the final recording.
Oh yeah, everything makes it. There's no editing.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Because you come from like what's that?
Oh, marketing background, right? Going to Vegas. Background. Yeah, the chiropractors. I got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you come from a marketing background, I want to help you problem solve with me here because I would say that this I got this question before COVID, but especially during where we saw this depression of all business streams, right? And so a lot of my clients had chiro. I mean, all of them had chiro. Many of them already had an operational gym as a part of their clinic,
right?
Or they were referring out to a gym, but they had this operational fitness piece. A lot of them had, say, massage, and a lot of them had some sort of nutrition, and they were getting paid money for all those things.
Yeah.
COVID hits. A lot of them saw everything drop off except some telehealth, like you're talking about. You could still do nutrition through telehealth.
Mm-hmm.
The gym became difficult, but one of the things that I heard over and over again was this idea of like, hey, I want to ramp up the gym, but a lot of my clients, I can't develop a clear message about it, or there's confusion, or, if I send out the hours for the gym, people think those are the hours for the clinic, like all this kind of gobbledygook.
Right.
So since literally the name of your company is Get Clear, right?
Yeah.
How do we get clear about these things so I can clearly market my clinic, and I can clearly market my gym and maybe my massage, even though they might have different hours, they might have different restrictions from the government. Massage, you might be required to do X, Y, Z. So, and those things are changing. How do we go through that?
So I just thought about Uncle Louie with his government restrictions of what he could do with massage. There's a reason why he got fired and stripped from the website. But okay, this is a great question, and certainly something that I welcome the challenge. And I thought we should do this together, and then other people can be filling in the blanks. So, from a story brand perspective,
do you hear this from other businesses? Like,
totally, yeah. So, one of the major problems with story brand is that you have this mandate to pick one clear message that it's like Lord of the Rings, right? One message to rule them all. But when you have multiple services, you have a bit of an issue. So you always have to take one step over and find what umbrellas the multiple services. So what is it? What's the message that could help somebody and say, we're going to give you one message, but it's going to apply to massage, it's going to apply to gyms, and it's going to apply to chiropractic care. To me, I think it's about total health and convenience, because I think those are the reasons why people get involved with healthcare is they want the health, but then if it's inconvenient, then they won't go for the health. So convenience and health. And then the other thing that we know about humans, especially during COVID, is that we are relational people, and community is so important to us, right? The reason why we were missing, whether it be sports or going to restaurants or bars or churches or whatever it was, the reason why people were so sad about those things wasn't necessarily the things themselves. It was the connection with human beings that they missed so much.
Yeah.
And I think that any gym owners have this amazing opportunity to really promote the fact that this is not your generic, race to the bottom pricing kind of model of fitness. This is like, it's about community. It's about being boutique and small. And you have there's trainers there that you can talk to, but they're also connected to your chiropractor it's part of your rehab. And then maybe your massage. Imagine how great it would be to go to get a chiropractic adjustment, or maybe not adjustment. Sorry to swear on your show here.
No, that's not swearing.
Okay, good.
You can use the S word. That's fine.
Yes, that's right. So, you get your adjustment, you get massage, and you get a workout at the same time, or two of the three, or you get your nutrition and your community at the same time. There's a coffee shop nearby. You all go out after there, and it's just that whole idea of convenient health and community. And, that's kind of around that. There's some messaging in there, and it solves the problem of people's lack of health. It solves the problem of their, having to drive across town, or even just like, okay, here's how from a member of the public, I think, okay, it's 10 minutes to drive. It's 10 minutes to get changed. It's maybe 45 minutes to work out, and then you're going back in reverse order. 10 minutes again, maybe that take that long to get changed, but something like that. And then driving. So I'm thinking, how do I have about 2 hours to go do everything for health? I got enough stuff going on in my life before that. So the busyness thing, the way to combat that is to have everything in one place. That's why I love multidisciplinary places, is because you can actually say, like, you got a whole team of people working for you, and you're not driving back and forth to talk to them. So imagine how great it would be if you had one place to take full ownership of your health. Especially if you're like connected to other places too, like maybe there's a pool nearby or something, like you can leverage that, like leverage the demographics of the area. And I think that's how you start crafting that message, is solving those problems that modern day people have: loneliness, inconvenience, and lack of health.
Hey, I want to tell you all about Membrant. Membrant, with a D in there, like Rembrandt. Membrant is an app platform. Now, this company is the one who built the Clinic Gym Hybrid app. And if you purchase our accelerator program, you will get firsthand knowledge of what they do. But I think this is the next evolution in clinics who want to really give their patients better care, better service, while making it more convenient. So what Membrant can do is help you design a custom app for your company. This isn't just like rebranding somebody else's. This is your app that lives on the App Store and your patients can download. Now, what's the power of an app? Well, let's just say, for example, that you have a certain protocol that you want your low back pain patients to go for. So let's say you include the McGill Big Three, a little talk about repetitive motions, and finding your kind of McKenzie protocol of reducing your pain through those repetitive asymptomatic movements. Well, you could tag the patients, meaning that you kind of put them on a list that says you want them to have access to the low back protocols, right? And then you could have another program of videos, articles, exercise descriptions, all that only go out to your patients with shoulder pain, right? Or ones that go out to patients with plantar fasciitis. If you can build that program, then what Membrane can help you do is make sure that only the patients that really need the plantar fasciitis exercises get that delivered to their phone. That thing that they're staring at, some estimates say as many as 500 times a day. All right. So check out membrant.com, or send me an email. I can hook you up with those guys and they can put together a fantastic program. I think it's really the future, and it's one more way that technology will help you make more money while providing better care and a better business model. So check out membrant.com.
So what I'm hearing here is that if I had a hamburger shop, right, and we say, hey, we're going to start selling burritos because people who eat hamburgers love burritos, right?
Right.
And it's like, that's fine. That's a perfectly fine business. But instead of saying, if I've been known forever as Jon Morrison's hamburgers, right, Morrison hamburgers, that if I start sending out these messages, hey, the burrito special this week is carnitas and free guacamole for everyone. People are like, what? John's the hamburger guy, right? Mm-hmm. But if instead I start with the idea of John's best lunches, best lunch in the world by Jon Morrison, check out our burgers and burritos and coming soon tacos, right? That when I say that, it's not weird now to get a free guacamole offer on the burrito.
Or all the flavors of the world or something. And then you can offer Indian
I guess
cuisine.
like the way it was sounding to me is like kind of like you ever played whack-a-mole, like where the gopher pops up?
Yeah, we have that in Canada. We play it with real moles though. Polar bears, actually. They pop out of the snow and then we whack them back down.
I think one of the things about, marketing sometimes is when there's not an overarching message, it feels like there's a message popping up here about get adjusted, and then it goes away, and then pops up here about, do you know the 3 supplements to take if your joints hurt? And then that disappears. And then it's like, are your shoulders tight? Get a massage. And it's like, well, I was going to take that supplement because I thought that's why my shoulders were tight. And now you're saying I need a massage, so don't take the supplements. And it becomes confusing. And they're like, well, what's the saying in business? A confused mind never buys, or a confused buyer never buys.
Or are we saying story brand? If you confuse, you lose, right? Which is a nice way.
And so if we do that, we need to make sure we're establishing, hey, we're a place for healthcare, and that can be in different versions. That can be exercise. That can be in nutrition. That can be a lot of things, right?
Yeah, for sure. And by the way, I don't think you should ignore the fact that the person that's getting health or chiropractic adjustment has a certain set of problems. The person that's getting massage, there's a certain message to be said there. The gym has a certain message, and the nutrition has a certain message. And you need to have those not only just for the sake of winning people over that are going to buy that service, but also for the sake of the fact that you need to have those keywords and your SEO in line too. So I think
I didn't even think about that.
Having a gym page, having a chiropractic page.
Because as confusing it is to the patient or client, it's also confusing to Google, right?
Right.
They're like, why this place has been known for hamburgers for 10 years? Why are burrito reviews popping up?
Yeah. So a good friend of ours had this problem and is always dealing with it. Is he started as a chiropractor, and so all of his keywords and all of his SEO work was all about chiropractic. And then he got the massage, he got the physical therapy, he got the nurse practitioner in, started focusing on a little bit of PI stuff, and all of a sudden his message got so watered down that he wasn't just a chiropractor. So it's not like it was impossible, but it's just a challenge that growth brings. And so when you offer a plethora of services, you're at risk of watering down your message. Now, it's not impossible because you just got to find what words or what messaging covers all of that. But then I want to drill them down. If they click on, it only takes one click and you're all of a sudden you're in a different messaging because you can pinpoint the pain of the person that's looking for a massage, or the value that a smaller gym is going to offer somebody. You pinpoint that on that page, but on the homepage when they land, you got to have that messaging of we're all about your total health, and here's some of the things that we offer. Click more for more information, and then you can really get clear on that I think specific message.
If I were to make a synonym out of this, kind of work this through with people listening, it's kind of like back pain, low back pain. We have an overarching, hey, there is back pain. There is pain, and it's located in the lower back. And here's a geographic region, right? But then as a good practitioner, what you want to do is say, what's the subcategory of this back pain? Is this facet mediated? Is this disc related? Is this purely mechanical low back pain? And so, we can kind of break it down to that subcategory. But generally, we want to tell people we're good at low back pain because we don't want to start with the idea of like, hey, we're really good at facet-mediated low back pain. Because that patient's like, I don't know if I don't even know what a facet is, dude. And mediated, like, what do you think? There's two sides of my spine talking to each other here? This is mediation. And so taking that approach too is we just got to be as general as possible. Does your back hurt? Okay. Well, then we can find out why or what the levels are, right? So in this case, we want to say, hey, our business involves all these things, or we offer all this version of healthcare. And then the subcategories are, we have our nutrition, our massage, our chiro.
Yeah. And there's a reason why you put all those together. You just got to get to the heart of it. Like, what's at the heart of the clinic gym hybrid? The clinic gym solves a problem that people today are walking around facing. And you just need to be able to target that and hit them between the eyes by addressing the problem and then showing them you have the solution. So agitate the pain of whatever it is that they're going through, and then hit them with like, this is the place to go for all of that.
So let's
anyway,
think.
that's over to you, Josh. Like, what is that problem the clinic gym solves?
Yeah, one of the most common things I hear, and I think this is very reliable because a lot of my clients say they heard it. I don't ask them for that feedback. What is that called? Unsolicited. This is unsolicited feedback from many clients. But they will often say, and I will tell you the client, this typically is like an older, so say 55 and older male who's active, wants to play golf on the weekends, maybe rides bike for 50 to 60 miles on the weekend, that type of person, if you can imagine that.
Mm-hmm.
And the response is they walk into the office for an initial exam on the chiro side. They look around and see the gym and they say, oh my God, I've been looking for this for the last 20 years and I didn't know it existed.
Mm-hmm.
And if you dig deeper, what is it that you're looking for? They say, I hate going to the gym, not knowing what to do and hurting myself and ending back at the chiropractic office.
Right.
And it's basically this horrible game of ping pong where they get themselves fixed to the chiropractor, then they go back to their gym and, 6 weeks to 6 months later, they're jacked up again, back to the chiro. And they're like, the fact that the chiro is going to tell the trainer what to do and what not to do, I'll pay just for that action. I'll pay $100 just for you to have that conversation, not let alone the actual workout. Like, I just want somebody to say, John, stop doing, the leg extensions it's going to hurt your knee at this point.
Right.
And I think that's a very reliable thing. And there are other kind of common phrases that pop up a lot, but I think that's one of the ones that really sticks out in my mind.
Mm-hmm. And how do you get them to stick around and to leave their current setup? Right. So that's going to be the question is you got to sell the value stack that thing. It's like, it's not only good because, the personal trainer and the chiro are talking about you, but it's also good because, the price is reasonable or we have a really nice.
No, the price is unreasonable, buddy.
Well, it's got to be reasonable in the sense of the value, right? So this is the old pricing question is like, you got to make it seem like they're getting a deal still, right?
Yeah.
So you're getting.
Yeah.
Imagine if there was a doctor, a DC and a massage therapist at your gym all the time, right? That'd be like huge value, and a trainer.
Yeah.
And it wasn't one of those like slimy places where you're getting checked out all the time. I haven't struggled with that myself, but I know that other people do struggle with that. Just it feels like a meat market when you just you came for a workout and stuff, right? So
if I were working through this marketing wise, I think one of the things that's important to do, and I get this question again a lot all the time, where people will say like, I want to go after this market. I want to work with, and sometimes there's like a big disparity between what they're saying and some other aspect of it. So like, I want to go after bodybuilders in, I heard this recently in the mountains of Colorado. I'm like, I don't think there's that many bodybuilders in Colorado. Yeah. And one of the things is they don't strike me as a population with a ton of money.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do chiropractic and a gym, like you should do it for people that have money to pay. Mm-hmm. And so like I worked with golfers in Las Vegas. That's great. I don't think golfers in Sheridan, Wyoming is really a great population because there's not a lot of them and they don't golf for half the year or more. Right.
Right.
So, but I mean, golfers here, we knew had the money. So if we're looking at those things, it's interesting that, if we know that population, like those older gentlemen who want to be active and have the money to do it, have a little bit of an ego, and they really want to be, kind of let's say they're alphas, right? They want to be served. So that means like some of the marketing you might do, the messaging would be directed towards those, that idea of moving, feeling younger. Mm-hmm. Whereas your friend with the nurse practitioners and work in PI, that message may not resonate with that group, right? Mm-hmm. Theirs is like, let's get out of pain now. And with the 55-year-old guys, it's, hey, don't you want to move for the rest of your life like you did when you were 20?
Yeah. Like that, and that would be the total health part, right? Is like getting everybody together in one area just for you. Like we're all here, a team of professionals working for you. And that's also the PI.
I got to cut you off. I'm sorry. You just said a team of professionals. I think part of your marketing, even the picture on your website, and maybe the first step is saying, let's have a team meeting with the chiropractor, Uncle Louie, and the trainer to set up your plan, right?
Yeah, Yeah.
And that is part of your marketing, because they look at that as that's the thing that separates you from everybody else. Nobody's ever had a team meeting with everybody.
Totally. And they're talking about me. Whereas the alternative is like, okay, now I've got a PT and a chiro, and I got a massage
drive from the
therapist.
PT's office. It's 20 minutes to the chiro.
Yeah. And they all disagree with each other because they all have different philosophies. And how do I know that the chiro is evidence-based and he supports sports rehab?
I feel better coming out of the chiro's office. I feel better coming out of the PT. But yet they say the other guy's doing the wrong thing. It doesn't feel like that to me.
Totally. Imagine if they're all working together. That's why the teamwork part, you sell that, and it's like the people would pay extra for that. And I think it's also for the PI too. Even if you're doing personal injury, the thing is that you can have a team of people working for them as well. Because that whole idea of driving across town and trying to coordinate, it's like if I had one person, and then they hand me that old-fashioned clipboard that's been photocopied 25 times and I can't read it anymore. I got to do that like 7 times to get better. It's like, oh,
no, thank you.
Such a pain in the ass. So anyways, that's one of the things that you solve too by having a bunch of people in the same room working together.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exciting because I just kind of talked myself through it. But now what I see is a website for that, if I was going after that population, that the hero image, the top image, is 3 people, 4 people sitting around one guy that obviously is the focus of the thing, and say, help me work on language here, John. Like,
imagine if you had a whole team of professionals working towards your health goals.
Say that again.
Imagine if you had a whole team of professionals working towards your health goals or helping you reach your health goals.
And then right below that, we could say, I'm going to guess at this, you're the expert. We blend chiropractic, nutrition, massage, and exercise to help you move and feel like you did when you're 25.
Yeah. Yeah. Too many people are wasting time and money trying to, I'd say that time and money stress of trying to juggle all their healthcare needs, all different, in different locations and stuff. Well, we have a single solution that's going to help you get better, feel better, and stay better for life. Something like that.
Awesome. Yeah.
I hope people aren't listening on 2 times speed because we just really flew through that. But
no, but if you can imagine that picture and then you can imagine that line written there, and that person comes to that site and they're like, I can't imagine, like you said, the price, the value. I feel like with some confidence, you could sell that team meeting for $500 on its own. And I'm not saying you're putting hands on the person. I'm just saying you're just having a meeting.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are their problems? What are they struggled with? Where do they want to go? How are we going to get there? You come up with a plan, and then it includes a year-long membership at the gym. That you sell that as a huge value add. I think that a lot of people would find that very appealing.
Yeah, that's great. Man, this was great.
That's where we're going to go, right? And then you got to think next is your call to action, right? What do you want them to do? I would say schedule a consultation probably is the best thing. You want some low-lying fruit to get them in the door. Because that's the thing, Josh, is that they didn't realize it was there until they walked on site, right? So they've driven by it every day, but they didn't know until they got there. One more thing that I would just say, like if you're going to charge Mercedes dollars, you have to treat people like Mercedes clients. You can't treat them like a Toyota if you're going to charge them like a Mercedes. So that's going to be the challenge for our people, is that you got to make sure that the place is clean, that it looks good, that stuff is up to date, that, you're... Because
that's the marketing as well, right?
They're getting white glove service if they're going to pay white glove dollars. So imagine if you were buying a Mercedes and, they had old junky coffee in there and the seats were tattered, and, it's just, you wouldn't feel right. Like if I'm going to pay top dollar, I need to be treated top dollar. So you're going to have to do that internally too, because no website's going to help you get people if you're not treating them well when they're there.
That's a great thought. I was just thinking, if you want to experience, if you're a young chiro and you're just coming out of school, you're going to start your clinic soon, and you really want to see what John's talking about, here's a challenge for you. Go to your local Jiffy Lube, some place that makes its money doing repairs and whatnot. Go in there, tell them you're just waiting for your dad. He's swinging by. Sit down on the chairs, run your hands over them, look at the grout in the tile floor, check out how clean the bathroom is, look at the magazines, look through the magazines, and then say, oh, he just texted me, I got to take off. Drive to the Mercedes dealership and do the same thing, and just see how many differences you can spot, and you'll realize what we're talking about. Like,
it's just a feel, it's the culture, it's the ethos of the 2 different business models, right?
Right. Now, John, I got to wrap this up, but here's kind of what I'm thinking, and tell me if you'd be willing to do this. This thing's going to get published in about a week or two. Somebody listening to this says, I'm going through that same struggle. I have a clinic and a gym. If they reach out to me and contact me, could we take somebody through this, record a session about this with that actual person, with an actual clinic, actual gym, all that?
Yeah. Well, Josh, let's look at our texts just from a few days ago. I think I reached out to you and said, hey, Josh, I've been thinking about some of the guys in your group. I've been humbled lately that we don't quite have the messaging down for clinic gym hybrids. Why don't we all get together on a call and let's hammer it out together? So I texted you that on Thursday. So
perfect.
I think I'm more than willing to do it. I'm excited to do it. And I would love to help the community that way. So why don't we just get on the Zoom call? I'll go through my 15 questions that I ask to get a messaging clear. Whoever wants to be a part of it can join. We'll put it on the Facebook group, and let's get some group think going. The good kind of group think.
All right. So this will be released, like I said, in about 2 weeks, and we'll start. Hit me up on the Facebook page or hit John up. John, you're in that Facebook page as well, right?
Yeah.
And
you can just tag me directly on it.
Yeah. Tag us that you listened, you're interested, and you want to be the person. And all we ask for, you just got to be totally honest about what you want, who you want to work with, and where they're coming from, and we'll help you out as best we can.
Yeah,
sound good?
Love it. Yeah, sounds great. I
awesome.
look forward to that.
Well, John, this was awesome for me. I hope it was awesome for all our listeners. You should call your business.
What?
Like increasing clarity, or like getting clearer, or just like get clear.
Something about clarity, yeah.
Yeah, just getclear.ca. So
and if there was a domain that just made it really simple and
yeah.
So
John's website is getclear.ca.
Yeah.
And you can go there.
And if they're interested in that, if they're Jane clients and they need a new website or interested in what we talked about before, we have the clinic sites, which is that's literally just the Jane integration website with that Get Clear uses. But clinicsites.co has it all, the stuff about Jane. So it's a really cool thing, and I think it will help a lot of people, especially those who are just getting started with a website and they have a Jane account.
Awesome. Well, on behalf of Jon Morrison up there in beautiful Canada, this is Dr. Josh Saturday saying, go out there, maximize your license, and live the life you dream of. Thanks so much, John.
Pleasure, Josh. Always great to hang out with you.
Thanks so much for checking out these videos. I hope they're useful. We'll cover things like rehab, exercise, business model, progressions, layout, everything else that helps you build a clinic. So if you're interested, you can click here, there, here, or anywhere to get more videos just like this. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you soon.